Okay, this might be a bit of a weird one, but I promise you it makes sense, at least to me, which is, I guess, the most important thing. But I'm putting it here in case somebody else finds some sense in it as well. But how did Damien Hirst help me with my anime art? Well, recently, since my kind of epiphany after listening to David Cho and really looking into people like Beeple and stuff like that, I found an interview with this guy called Slawn. And if you want to check him out, his name is Slawn, S-L-A-W-N. And he's a Nigerian artist living in, I think he's in London at the moment. And he basically paints this little clown character. And it's just his character. It's all he does. He paints this little clown face. Sometimes he paints a clown face on a Sesame Street character or on some other recognizable character, but more often than not, it's just this clown face. It's not particularly amazing, doesn't take him very long, he just uses spray cans. He doesn't appear to put too much effort into it, and he sells pieces for $30,000, $40,000. And it's just a canvas with this clown face on it. He's done possibly unofficial collaborations with Rolex and a whole bunch of other things. He kind of had this thing where he did these unofficial collaborations where basically he drew on designer merchandise and called it a collaboration. And then on the back would write, not a collaboration, so he didn't get sued. But it was pretty funny. I kind of admired that sort of punk rock approach to it. Anyway, he's drawn this character for years and never given a fuck about whether someone likes it. He just draws it because he likes it. He doesn't even call himself an artist. He's just a guy that makes things. Which I found really hit me hard for some reason. He's not drawing to be an artist, he's drawing literally because he enjoys it, which is the purest form of art I can imagine. Just for fun. And I think that's something everyone's forgotten how to do, myself included. I'm actively trying to unlearn stuff and break things down and strip stuff away just so I can get back to actually having fun with art. And it's really hard to do, to have a blank canvas and just make shapes with paint, or not paint. You know, maybe you want to stick something to the canvas and paint over it, and maybe you don't want to use a paintbrush, you want to use your hands. You know, it's really difficult to, after having done tattoo art where there is very little room for freedom. Every line has to be perfect, every shading has to be perfect. If you get one line off a little bit, you could make someone's face look terrible, particularly if you're doing a portrait. And this guy has just had it from the off, man. He just doesn't care. He just draws this character. And that led me down the path of looking at other more sort of contemporary artists. I even saw Kid Cudi, who I think is a rapper. I'm not entirely sure. He just decided to start painting this little character that he's been drawing since he was a kid. And he just held his own exhibition and did it for fun. I don't know if he made any money off his paintings, but he did it, and it was fun for him. And I just really admired that. And it made me see someone who I used to detest in a totally new light, and that was Damien Hirst. So I watched the thing with Damien Hirst after that. And if you don't know Damien Hirst, he's a pretty prolific, famous contemporary artist. He did the shark in Formaldehyde and the half a cow in Formaldehyde, as well as other various things. And some of his art's nonsense. I don't actually like any of his art. I still don't like his art. But I really appreciate what goes into it. And it's the total lack of fucks given about what everyone's going to think. Which I think is just fucking brilliant. He did a whole series that was just dots. He did a whole series that was just paint on a spinning canvas, and it makes these kind of, abstract, starbursty patterns. And it's all shit. I mean, there's like a couple that are like, he did some dot paintings that just looked cool. They were just aesthetically pleasing just because of the bright colours or something. I'm not really sure. But there are some that I hated less. It's led to me doing that with my anime. I am trying to paint now as if I do not give a fuck. I'm just putting stuff down without worrying about where it's going, whether it's right, what shape this is making. I don't know what's going to happen next. Yesterday I painted for so long on one canvas, just making shapes that I could carve into the paint with just water on the brush, and it would leave these like troughs of paint underneath you through which you could see the canvas. And I just left it, and I came back this morning with, having slept, to this mess on my canvas and just started painting over the top. And there's always this sort of anime theme running through my paintings, just because I like anime. But it doesn't mean that because it's anime it has to adhere to any particular rule. Even if you're drawing a character how many paintings have you seen of characters that we know where they've just completely changed them? We've seen, everyone has seen paintings of Bob Marley, Audrey Hepburn, Jimi Hendrix, Marilyn Monroe, Madonna. All these famous icons have been painted, and someone will slap tattoos on them or put them on the cover of a magazine that they were never on and put some funny headline on it, and there are no rules for these people. I don't like that artwork, but I really kind of admire the fact that people are just doing it for fun. Even if they're doing it to sell, like, there's a good chance that they just enjoy the process of selling art enough to create art that they don't necessarily want to be making, which sounds contradictory, but try and spend some time with it and it might make a little more sense. Since then I've discovered a whole bunch of people that do the same thing. There are people that just do balloon dogs in different colours, big sculptures of balloon dogs. I've forgotten his name, but he's pretty famous. Or a bear, just a statue of a bear, and they'll paint different things on it. They'll probably slap a Louis Vuitton logo all over it and put some Versace logos on it and stuff like that, give it a gun, put some chains around its neck, embed some cigars and bullets in resin and stick that to, it's just like, some of it seems really corny, but it certainly appeals to a demographic. And these people just keep making the same thing because it's fun, and they find their niche, they find their own audience. I don't want to find the same audience as anyone. My favourite anime artists were Masamune Shirow and Yoji Shinkawa and Kim Jong-gi, and these guys all paint like the way they paint. There's no one that looks like Masamune Shirow, there's no one that looks like Yoji Shinkawa, and if basically everyone that does, whose art does look like that, is trying to copy him. And I don't want to copy anymore. Like, it's just forever going to be a comparison when I'm painting stuff that I can say safely has come as much as possible from myself. Obviously it's all drawn from a lifetime of inspiration and kind of residual note-taking from seeing other people's artwork. It's come with as little conscious influence as possible. I've got nothing to compare it with, so it feels great. There's no it just doesn't look as good as this guy's piece that I was referencing from, or it doesn't look as good as this girl's artwork that I was looking at, or blah blah. There's just none of that. It just gets to look the way I want it to look, and by the end of it I've got nothing bad to say about it. I don't always like it, but there's nothing I think I could have done better. It's always, I might just paint over that bit because I don't like it, and I'll put something else there, and it's so liberating. So that's kind of how Damien Hirst has influenced my art, because it was through his interview that I sort of got it suddenly. I detested him. Now there are still a few contemporary artists on I don't think I'll ever understand. Tracy Emin, she drives me insane. I think her artwork is horrific. I think it's bad, and I find it lazy. But that's just me. Maybe one day I'll understand. I'm not closed to that idea, but goddamn, she frustrates the hell out of me. And also, something else I learned is Damien Hirst is actually a really, really fucking good painter. He did this thing, I think it was recently. He did a series called Seascapes, and I actually thought they were photographs. I didn't know that they were paintings, and I thought, oh, he's gotten photographs, blown them up, put them on a canvas and chucked a load of paint at it. And then I found out, no, they were completely hand-painted, and then he chucked a load of paint over it. Which blew my mind. He even threw the paint in such a way that it looks as though it's part of the painting. And suddenly these paintings were pretty good, and these were Damien Hirst pictures, and it was just like a really eye-opening moment. So he can paint that well, and he chooses not to because it's not fun, and he doesn't like it. And I just resonated with him so strongly when he said that. And it's just like, I gotta take this into my art. Doesn't matter what I'm painting. I like horror, I like anime tits, I like anime, and I've got 3 colours. What am I going to do? I've literally got 3 acrylic colours. I'm using acrylics because they dry faster and you can paint over them with other things. I got myself some spray paint, I got myself some squeeze markers, and I'm just making stuff, and it's so much fun. And people are going to like it, and people are going to hate it, and that's fine. It doesn't matter. All I care is that the piece is finished, and I say I had fun making it. And it should be the same for you. That's I feel the only should in art is that it is cathartic for you in some way. You don't get to a bit where, oh Christ, now I've got to spend 5 days rendering hair strands, or, you know, I've got to spend X amount of time doing the fucking arm. There are always parts in the painting that you dread to do. So I've just decided to stop doing them. And suddenly it's all fun. So I know there's a running theme with this channel at the moment. I have no plan what I'm going to say before I say it. Obviously I have a small idea of what it is I'm going to say, but I don't have a script. This is completely off the top of my head. I record it in one take. The only edits I make are to take out long pauses where I'm trying to find the right word to say or something like that, or times where I have to clear my throat. But yeah, this is I'm adopting the same approach with this channel. I don't really know where it's going. I'm just recording videos. I do them when I want to, which at the moment seems to be once a week, but that doesn't mean there won't be more frequent, or I'd like to not do less videos. But at some point I'm going to run out of footage of my artwork to overlay these videos too, so we'll have to see what happens after that. I don't know. But anyway, if you want to check out some of my my bullshit art, then you can check out my Instagram, which is blush.coven. I think there's a link on my YouTube. And I have a Patreon, but I started it with different intentions, and then I realized I was just turning it into work again. I was just like, I will deliver you X amount of paintings, and some will be not safe for work, and some will be safe for work, and you've got to subscribe. And I was like, already I've got a headache. I'm just gonna have one tier, and you can just pledge if you want, and maybe I'll give you some stuff at some point. But yeah, I don't know. All my paintings are for sale. Check them out, and let me know if you want to buy any. Or something. I don't know. Anyways, love you very much. Thanks for hanging out.